Good evening, and welcome to Dell Medical School's Class of 2022 Commencement. Please silence your phone and any of the devices. The program will begin shortly. Good evening. Please turn your attention to the back of the room as we welcome the Dell Medical School class of 2022.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for our first in-person graduation here at Dell Medical School. And I know we have people joining us remotely as well, so welcome to all of you. And again, thank you again. This is obviously an incredible night for some fantastic young, almost physicians, and we're happy to be celebrating with them today. I'd first say on behalf of the faculty and our students, thank you to families and friends who've supported these young physicians in their training. This is step one, so they're gonna need you more than ever when they embark on the next step of their career, but they certainly couldn't have done it without you. You know, the medical school is really founded for the community here in Travis County, and we do owe a debt of gratitude to the citizens here in Travis County who really voted to have a medical school here in Austin. And that community focus has really, I think, shaped our work and how we think about health and making health better here in Travis County. So again, thank you to our community for all of their support. We've also been incredibly lucky to have others who've supported us. The Michael and Susan Dell Foundation, obviously named the school and have been supporters from before day one, from 4 years ago, before there was a day one. And we thank them and many other donors who've helped to make today a reality. We also have committed educators, in our Department of Medical Education, and many of the people you see here on stage, leaders of various departments and institutes, and some of our really tremendous educators. And again, you can't train great medical students without great people to do that work and be committed every single day, and we're lucky to have them. And most importantly, congratulations to you guys and ladies sitting in the front. You really have made it, and I know it's been a long 4 years, a complicated 4 years with COVID and everything else, but you persevered, and you're here today at the end of one journey and the start of another. But now it's my privilege to welcome Dell Medical School's class of 22 student keynote, Karina Souffle, to share her remarks with the class. Karina is a really great shining example of Dell Medical School. She's passionate about primary care and holistic attention to the body, mind, and spirit. Before medical school, she studied anthropology and Latin American studies at UT Austin, earned a Master of Education degree from Harvard, and taught 12th grade English to the Navajo Nation. Amazing. At Dell Med, she participated in the Integrative Medicine Interest Group, the Latinx Medical Student Association Family Medicine Interest Group. During her third year here, she completed a qualitative research project on integrative medicine for chronic pain management as part of the Dell Med Distinction in Innovation and Discovery track. She'll be pursuing training as a family medicine physician in the diverse rural community of Hood River, Oregon. Please welcome Karina Souffle.
One second while I figure out how to share my screen. I'm sorry, I think I was on mute. If that's not a familiar refrain, I'm not sure you spent as much time in the Zoom School of Medicine as we have these past few years. All jokes aside, good evening, everyone. It's a true honor to stand here before you. Students, staff, and faculty of Dell Medical School, as well as friends and family, both here in the room and online. I'm filled with warmth looking out at everyone assembled, especially the class of 2022. Thank you to my peers for trusting me to be your voice during this ceremony. It's difficult to encapsulate the meaning of such a momentous occasion in just a few minutes, but I'd like to share some thoughts on the following 3 features of our experience. Completing medical school is no small feat, and we have countless people to thank for their support. And while the future might seem daunting, we each have a clear mission that will guide us through residency and beyond. So first, to the class of 2022, we made it. Today we celebrate the successful completion of medical school. We met the requirements for graduation, even if it did entail an email in late February saying that we needed one more 2-week elective in order to graduate. We filled out all the evals, even if it did require a not-so-gentle email from someone tasked with wrangling medical students into compliance. We scrambled to finish all the assignments that some kind soul in the GroupMe texted us about the night before they were due. We scrambled to finish all the assignments that some kind soul in the GroupMe texted us about the night before they were due. We scrambled to finish all the assignments that some kind soul in the GroupMe texted us about the night before they were due. We scrambled to finish all the assignments that some kind soul in the GroupMe texted us about the night before they were due. We scrambled to finish all the assignments that some kind soul in the GroupMe texted us about the night before they were due. We scrambled to finish all the assignments that some kind soul in the GroupMe texted us about the night before they were due. We scrambled to finish all the assignments that some kind soul in the GroupMe texted us about the night before they were due. We scrambled to finish all the assignments that some kind soul in the GroupMe texted us about the night before they were due. We scrambled to finish all the assignments that some kind soul in the GroupMe texted us about the night before they were due. We scrambl We spent approximately 13 hours in noise-canceling headphones taking USMLE board exams, and about 30 times more soul-crushing hours than that studying for those exams. We also spent countless hours in HLB, filling wall-to-wall whiteboards with anatomical drawings and illness scripts. And we spent thousands of hours in clinical rotations, on the final day of which most of us likely asked our senior resident if there was anything else we could do to help. After clearing these hurdles and so many more, here we are. It's worth acknowledging that no good success comes without failure, trial, or tribulation. We've each had our own personal moments where, despite our best efforts, we simply crashed and burned. Whether it was in front of our team on rounds, or on a summative exam, or even when asked in the middle of a surgical case where the round ligament attaches to the pelvis. It's happened to each of us. Collectively, we also faced a huge challenge together, the pandemic. I have to admit, I gave coronaviruses a pretty cursory glance during Foundations of Disease. Time was short, and the microbes were endless. And lo and behold, a year later, a member of that family of viruses shook our world profoundly. And at a difficult time, no less, the doldrums of clerkships near the MS2, MS3 transition point, what is arguably the most challenging part of a Dell Med student's career. The entire situation forced the class of 2022 to reach down deep for determination, courage, and flexibility. I'm not talking about the kind of flexibility that makes you think, this is fun, I didn't know I could do a backbend. It was more like, I'm concerned that this pretzel shape that my limbs are twisting into is causing irreparable damage and will leave me permanently pretzeled. Yet as a class, we did what we weren't sure we could do, and we moved forward into the unknown together. I'm proud to say during that time while we were physically isolated in our own little bubbles, trying to figure out how to reorganize our step exams and rotations, all while grieving so many losses that summer, folks in our class looked out for one another and took care of each other. The care extended was a powerful and humbling testament to the quality and character of the people in our class. All in all, things didn't necessarily go how we'd hoped they would, but we made it through. We have a new love-hate relationship with Zoom, and I think this is a huge accomplishment in itself. A lot of people behind the scenes also deserve recognition today, many more than I can mention. By no means are any of our successes solely because of our own individual merits. We each had a team of champions, supporters, educators, and mentors helping us along the way. While we congratulate ourselves tonight and let others congratulate us, let us remember that yes, we worked hard, that is absolutely undeniable, and we sacrificed much to complete all that was required to stand here today. But so have others. We were never alone in this endeavor. Many people have extended us generous amounts of time and attention, resources, and second chances. Our families, spouses, parents, and guardians have each sacrificed in their own ways to make sure that we had the opportunity to reach this point. And certainly years before June 25th, 2018, when we walked into HLB for Dell Med orientation, someone at a crossroads in our lives saw us, perhaps before we even saw ourselves, and took the time to encourage us. Those folks, many of whom are here with us right now, and some of whom are no longer with us at all, deserve celebration too. They believed in our abilities to do something to make this world a better, more loving, more just, and more healthy place. Without them, we would not be able to claim even half our successes. To the faculty of Dell Med with us tonight, allow me to say on behalf of the class of 2022 a very sincere thank you for preparing us to enter the world of medicine as more than just competent first-year residents, but as exemplary ones. To the staff of Dell Med, thank you for supporting us and putting up with our endless agonizing over details. There are thanks to be extended as well to our patients at Dell Seton and the various hospitals and clinics through which we rotated. They graciously, and sometimes not so graciously, put up with our bungled interview questions and our awkward physical exam maneuvers. Many welcomed and some simply tolerated our overflowing enthusiasm and lack of experience. But importantly, they taught us lessons in healthcare access, equity, and compassion that no textbook could bring to life. Our education hinged on the encounters we had with hundreds of people who allowed us to join them during some of the most personal and vulnerable points of their lives. Class of 2022, all the aforementioned people who helped us lay this foundation of our medical education put their trust in us. As we go forth now into the world as physicians, what will we pay forward in tribute to that which we've received from so many people? I would hope that in 10, 20, or 30 years, when we come back together in reunion, we will be able to say we've done some world-changing stuff during that time. We chose to attend Dell Med because we believed in the mission of this school, to revolutionize how people get and stay healthy. At the end of this ceremony, we'll recite the Hippocratic Oath and join a long thread of doctors in our commitment to do ethical work. But what if we committed to doing not just ethical work, but radical work? Work that really taps into the root of healthcare inequality and eradicates it. What would our work look like if it lived up to the Dell Med mission of revolutionizing how people get healthy, of revolutionizing how people stay healthy? And I'll add to that, all people, not just people who can afford our services. We may not be responsible for completing the work of revolutionizing healthcare, but that doesn't mean we can abandon it. So instead of saying congratulations and good luck to the class of 2022, I'd like to say congratulations and don't give up. Thank you.
Karina, thank you. Those were really beautiful words and very, very inspiring for all of us. So thanks again. Next, I have the honor of introducing this year's commencement keynote speaker, Dr. Freda Lewis-Hall. A pioneer in medicine and leadership, Dr. Lewis-Hall has served as a leader at the forefront of healthcare for more than 40 years as a clinician, researcher, and executive in the biopharmaceuticals and life sciences industries. Dr. Lewis-Hall is a passionate advocate for health equity and improving outcomes for all patients. She's widely regarded for expanding outreach to patients, reshaping the focus on patient engagement and inclusion, improving health information and education, and amplifying the voice of the patient within the company culture and decision-making. Appointed by the Obama administration in 2010, she recently completed a decade of service on the Board of Governors for the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute, and she currently serves on boards focusing on advancing health outcomes. Locally, she served on Dell Medical School's inaugural advisory board, using her expertise to help with our school's early growth. I know that I speak for many when I say that we're delighted to have her back in Austin to share her words of wisdom with our graduating class today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Freda Lewis-Hall to the podium.
So let me start by saying how honored I am to be a part of this very special day for all of you. I want to thank the faculty and the administration for having me here, but mostly I want to thank the honored graduates, their families, their friends, and supporters for allowing me to be a part of this incredible celebration of your accomplishments, but also the transition. I feel like Karina and I were on the exact same wavelength about many of the things that was said today. But I'll start by warning you, which I usually do. I'm a nervous speaker, and I always have been. When I was a little girl, I would assemble all my aunts and uncles to be an audience for me to practice before, and they were very supportive and very attentive and gave great advice. The best advice that I ever received was from my Uncle Big Daddy, my father's eldest brother. And about my nervousness, he said simply this: "Sugar, don't be nervous when you talk to people. You just do your best to be profound. And if you can't be profound, be provocative. And if you can't be neither one, be brief." So I'm sure that many of you came here looking for a profound. After all, it is commencement. And some of you may have been seeking provocative. I'm pretty sure all of you were hoping for brief. So if you'll bear with me, I'll try and do just a little bit of all three. 42 years ago, I graduated from medical school. If I close my eyes now and think about what we have accomplished in science and medicine in that 42 years, it is profound. What has actually occurred, mapping the human genome, focused ultrasound, all kinds of biotics, It is truly Star Wars medicine in science and medicine over the last decades. And if I think about how profound those changes have actually been, if I think about the new ideas and insights and information that's in our head, and if I think about the Star Wars type tools that are in our hands, absolutely profound. But what I think is most profound of all is what's happened over the decades with the insights that we have that have been brought to us by our interface with patients and their families. Those are the insights that shape us and build us. What I think is most profound is what is in our hearts, in the heart of medicine. I'll give an example. When I was young in my years in practice, I was full of some percentages. I had some data going on. I sat with a patient one day, and I told her, you know, according to the data, the likelihood of your having this is about 5%. And the possibility of you having is probably about 2%. And after I had gone through a few of those, and she sat patiently, she reached across the table and gently touched my hand. She said, baby, just remember this. If it happens to me, it's 100%. How will I ever forget the individual nature of the individual patient that sits before me after that? Or the opportunity that I had to be reached out to on behalf of our team by a family that was valiantly fighting to save the life of their child. They did everything. We agreed to help, and we did everything possible as well. Unfortunately, he died. And some months later, I was at a meeting, and when I stood off of the podium and stood to the side, I noticed a couple standing on the other side. Eventually, they approached me and introduced themselves. Of course, I started crying, and they started crying. Even the people who were standing next to us who didn't know why they were crying. But it was a moving moment. And I looked up once I collected myself and said, why are you here? She said, I wanted to thank you. We came to thank you. And the look on my face must have told what I was thinking, which is I'm not sure we did enough to be thanked for. She read that and then answered me in this way. She said, we came to thank you for the time you gave us and to tell you what we did with that time. He felt better enough to play with his sisters at the park, his favorite thing in the world. We had time to get our parents there so grandparents could hug their beloved grandchild for a last time. She named thing after thing what they did with the minutes he was given. How will I ever forget the value of the gift of time and of giving your best effort? So each and every day, in practice with your patients, as I'm sure you've experienced already, you will learn lessons, profound lessons. You'll learn them in unforgettable moments, in undeniable experiences, in ahas that will live with you forever. So as profound as the science is, so are the experiences and what you'll be taught by your patients. Embrace them and never forget the value of courage and strength and faith and love and gratitude. So if I ponder profound for a moment, what would I say that could be provocative? And some that know me know that I sometimes get in trouble when I go into the provocative space, but you know, that's kind of what provocative is, isn't it? So some of the questions that I have are this. What are we going to do about some of the challenges that remain unsolved in medicine as we practice today? If I look back over the same 42 years, as stunning as our progress has been, our ability to apply it has been wanting. We have Star Wars medicine, and in many cases, a Flintstones healthcare ecosystem. What are we going to do about the idea that we can send a drone to Mars, but somehow can't get the technology needed to save and change lives to our inner cities or to rural communities on this globe? How is it that some individuals and communities are disproportionately or differentially affected by some diseases, and we haven't come far or fast in decades in addressing those things? What are we going to do about the fact that we know and understand social determinants, but haven't been able to get our arms around them and make the differences that need be made in order to move forward? I could do this all day, listing the inequities, talking about the things that need to be changed. But I won't, because hearing what you've done as the class of 2022, understanding who you are, I feel very confident that we're in good hands. I feel confident that in your hands, we're in good hands. Why do I feel that way? Because you are sitting here today. You are sitting here today. A month ago, today, my husband suffered a devastating stroke. He insisted that I come and be with you today and leave the hospital room that I've been in for the last month. He said, tell them how important they are and what they'll accomplish. The day he had his stroke, I called my friends and colleagues, some of them here today, and they texted and called and emailed me through nights and days in the coming days. They called their colleagues. They looked up material. They shared their expertise. They did everything possible to continue to support me in my moment of need. That compassion, that commitment is what inspired me then in dealing with my husband's illness, and it's what inspired me to first come into medicine those many years ago. I've wanted to be a doctor since I was 6 years old. Why? Because my uncle came to live with me when I was born. He was paralyzed at the hands of a polio infection when he was 6 years old. And I couldn't believe the magic of what the doctors and nurses and other healthcare professionals did, what the surgeon did in fusing his spine so he could stand on his crutches and be more independent. The work of our community physician who took care of him and his many infections and troubles so that he could stay healthy and be a part of our family for years and years and years. Those physicians treated us with compassion, with commitment, with wisdom, and with generosity. And my experiences over the last month have reaffirmed that this is where magic happens. So, I think we're in good hands. Why? Because you're here today. Because you've committed your lives to service. You've committed your careers to healing. You're going to wrestle it all to the ground and make it right. Yeah, we're in good hands. How do I know that we're in good hands? Because you chose to start your career at this medical school, which is founded on the notion of revolutionizing how people get and stay healthy, and is looking to change and establish an ecosystem in the healthcare system that is inclusive and novel. You chose this to start your career in this kind of transformation. Oh, yeah, we in good hands. And how do I know you're in good hands? Because you came through medical school during one of the most incredible and devastating medical catastrophes to face us in our time. And look at you sitting right here. You came through it all. Equanimity under duress, agility, and ingenuity. Yeah, we're in good hands. So, yes, I want to challenge you for the opportunity for change. I want to celebrate you because of the milestone that we have here today. I want to congratulate you for your hard work and your sacrifice and for your devotion to the next step. But what I want to do most of all is to thank you. Is to thank you for this commitment. Is to thank you for taking this oath. is to thank you for putting years of hope and hard work to bring us all together here today. I want to thank you. I also want to take a minute to thank friends and family, faculty, mentors, and supporters of all kinds. I know that it is not easy to get somebody to this point. My parents, with my proclamation in, I won't tell you what years, that I decided I wanted to be a physician, didn't know anything about medical careers or college educations. But they told me they believed I could fly, and they thought that their job was to give me wings. So they did everything they knew how to do, and some things they did not. My father drove a taxi at night after his day job and on the weekends. I couldn't wait, because he would take me to the medical museum on the mall in Washington, D.C., where we lived, so that I could see body parts in jars. He thought that was a little odd, but if it got me where I wanted to go, he was in. My mother, who sat at the kitchen table and filled out college applications one night after the high school counselor advised me that I should focus on marrying well because I was such a lovely young lady and I had good manners. My mother took care of her the next morning. But that night, we sat up and filled out applications that neither of us knew how to fill, but we did it. So yes, I know that this is not easy. There's not enough gratitude to extend to you for the work that you've done, but I want to try. I want to try again to say, let's celebrate, let's congratulate, but most of all, thank you.
Well, it's humbling to come after such wonderful speeches. I want to take just a brief moment to thank Dr. Souffle for sharing that insight into what it's like to have been in medical school for 4 years here, and to Dr. Lewis Hall for not only being provocative, profound, but sharing a lot of personal aspects of medicine in her life. They truly are inspirational to me, and I'm sure to you all as well. Well, I get a really wonderful opportunity to do something tonight. But first, before I do my official role, I'd like to just say, 5 years ago, the class of 2022, I think, took a big leap of faith and accepted admission into a brand new medical school. A school that had no graduates, no match statistics. We didn't even have a third or fourth year class when they agreed to come. I'm sure many of you that are here tonight question the wisdom of that decision. But I hope, after the speeches that you've heard and after the things you've seen over these last 4 years, that you know they made the right decision and, in fact, made a great decision at that time. So, class of 2022, I am happy to report you have fulfilled all the requirements 2, 4, 8 weeks of medical school. And I, with the approval of your faculty and the authority invested in me by the great University of Texas at Austin Dell Medical School, am happy to confer each and every one of you with a degree as a doctor of medicine. And with that, I will invite Steve Smith to come to the podium and invite each of you to come up individually on stage. Thank you.
Well, I can't find the notes. but that's okay. I had pretty much decided to go off script anyway. I have a standard spiel I give at White Coat and Commencement, and I want you to remember it from White Coat and remember that it's still true. And that is, I told you that you are all exceptional, remarkable people, and that I do not tell you that to praise you or to flatter you. I tell you that to indebt you for what you can be in our world, in our community. And I repeat it again now, but I was thinking on the way in tonight, this is actually, I had to count up, this is actually my 22nd medical school graduation, which is odd that it's 22, but anyway. But I was thinking about this class in particular, and with what happened to you at the end of your second year, with the COVID pandemic and leaving clerkships and having to rearrange board exams and reshuffle everything in your education and in your lives. And it was hard for everyone, but the impact that it had on your education was so difficult and so profound and so complicated that I honestly believe in 22 years, this is without a doubt the most resilient class of students I have ever seen. And congratulations to you. I'm honored upon the recommendation of the faculty to announce each of you for recognition as you complete your journey towards receiving your medical doctorate. Dr. Pandian's group. Evelyn Bodenschatz. Garrett Bourne. Faith Noah. Shannon Siadia Scooey. Thomas Varkey. Dr. Mariquin's group. Karina Albab. Ciara Elaine Brown. Oliver Ha. Malia Khan. Joshua Mercer. Zara Qasim. Dr. Avashia's group. Kaylee O'Connor Leathers. Mason Payne. Ayane Rosano. Karina Souffle. Amanda Wu. Dr. Miller's group. Christopher Allen. Morgan Gaither. Marielle Guay. Kristen Sheely. Dr. Bedoya's group. Natasha Das. Brittany Moore. Yusuf Nofel. Dayal Rajagopalan. Dr. Kulkarni Date's group. Lars Hegstrom. Giuliani Khoury Martin. Juliana. Emilio Ramos. Helen Schaefer. Matthew Seegers. Dr. Mulbari's group. Catherine Dawson Gore. Bonnie Du Cruz. Madeline Haynes. Vic Coley. Dr. Manja's group. Peyton Hughes. Catherine Jensen. Dominic Rago. Katie Walsh. Benjamin Roblewski. Dr. McClement's group. Madison Jones Hanson. Kaylee Kalina. Sharmila Paul. Elaine Ramirez. Ifealua Taluape Shoyambo. Dr. Taylor's group. Yusuf Ahmed. Priyanka Jagannathan. Sajani Patel. Julia Taylor. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot imagine and I cannot describe my privilege and delight to present to you Dell Med School's newest class of doctors. Please join me in congratulating them.
All right, almost there, almost there. The Leonard Toe Humanism in Medicine Award recognizes a faculty member who demonstrates both clinical excellence and outstanding compassion in the delivery of care, and who shows respect for patients, their families, and healthcare colleagues. I now invite the recipient of the 2022 Leonard Toe Humanism in Medicine Award, Dr. Greg Wallingford, to lead our class and clinicians joining us in person and virtually as we recite the Hippocratic Oath.
Please join me. I swear to fulfill, to the best of my ability and judgment, this pledge. I will respect the autonomy, dignity, and privacy of my patients. I will practice my profession with conscience and in accordance with best medical practice. I will remember that there is art to medicine as well as science. And that warmth, sympathy, and understanding may outweigh the benefits of surgery and medications. I will not permit bias, prejudice, or other societal constraints to impact my responsibility to my patient. And I will be vigilant in addressing health inequities. I will avoid the traps of overtreatment and advocate for those without access. I will always put patients and their families ahead of personal economic gain. I will prevent disease and promote health. I will advance health in my community beyond the walls of the clinic and the hospital. I will collaborate with all members of the healthcare team to provide comprehensive care to my patients and my community. I will recognize the limits of my knowledge and skill and seek the help of others when needed. I will work to improve the quality and the safety of the healthcare system. Through innovation, collaborative leadership, and teamwork. I will attend to my own health, well-being, and abilities. In order to provide care of the highest standard. If I do not violate this oath, I will live honored knowing that I have returned to society the great investment and trust it has placed in me.
Well, class of 2022, you are our new physician colleagues. So congratulations, first of all. And as everyone knows, medicine, I think, is the highest calling in life. And we know that you're going to do great things through your becoming great clinical doctors and being leaders and helping to revolutionize how we take care of patients. We're really looking forward to the great things that you do in the future, and we're going to keep an eye on you over the years to come. So again, congratulations, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, both in person and virtually. And again, have a wonderful evening and celebrate these great young folks. Thank you.